Hello everyone, Andy Pickering here. Welcome to the Crypto Conversation. My guests today are Luke Ryan and Bill Takarei. Luke is the founder of the NFT project Titan Tikis, or the Titan Tiki Tribe, and they are based here in New Zealand, Aotearoa, and they are taking a very interesting cultural approach to the metaverse. And Bill is a respected Kaumatua. I hope I got that right, Bill. I'm sure you'll correct me in a minute. But that means a Māori elder. So Bill has been the guide for the tikis, ensuring that the Māori culture is done the right way. So yeah, hey, welcome to the show, Luke and Bill.
Yeah, kia ora. Kia ora.
Kia ora, guys. Well, let's start at the beginning. So love to get a bit of background on you both. So Luke, let's start with you, and then we'll hear from Bill.
Yeah, sure thing, Andy. Welcome, everyone. It's been a journey. My background actually started with a bit of corporate life. Did the corporate game for a while, flipped out, found my love of art again, spent time in galleries and in doing different projects, I guess, in the physical realm, as we call it. And then I got pulled into the metaverse, like a lot of us have, and you really felt a calling with NFTs, and just got to a point where bringing culture into NFTs really just felt like something that needed to be done. And and through this creation happened of Titan Tiki. So it's been quite an interesting ride. It's been a really good ride, actually, of like learning how to hold and respect and honor culture. And doing it. And it's almost been a lot of soul searching for myself as well, and making sure that when it's happening, that it's actually done in the right way, which is why it's been really, really cool with Bill to be like, hey, you know, what would we do this way? What would we do that way? Which probably leans it over to Bill to introduce himself.
Yeah, kia ora. So kia ora in Māori is hello. And in that regard, I guess a bit of background for me, culturally, I was lucky to be brought up by my elders. So I think that's an important part of the cultural context and the oral tradition and language they had, which was passed down to me. So a lot of what I learned wasn't necessarily by the book. It was by being with the elders and going to the different hui being a gathering, and learning at funerals, all those type of things, which we call tangi, that were important to build your character in your own culture in an indigenous way, but also be guided much like a tiki in its particular journey around the learnings that you have, and be able to culturally bring that out and show a point of difference around how that is important to everything we do. So brought up by my elders, certainly come from both a Māori culture, which is indigenous people of Aotearoa or New Zealand, but also have Pacific links as well. And so that whole Polynesia side, where there's real similarities between the cultures, and how that particular part plays a major part in how I was brought up, but also what I've got to offer to Titan Tiki going forward. So that's a brief summary of me, also known as Matua Piri, but certainly my interest and excitement for Titan Tiki is that it has the cultural aspects at the front end of how it does its business, but also that part is reflected in everything we do, in the respect that goes with the culture and the sharing, but also the delivery to people who want to share that and make sure it's an inclusive part of doing that. So kia ora.
Kia ora, very nice, Bill, and very nice, Luke. So, I mean, it's just awesome to have you guys here. And as a New Zealander myself, it's always good to see. There's a number of NFT projects coming out of New Zealand at the moment, but I think the Titan Tikis are one of the first, I suppose, like truly indigenous NFT projects. And, that certainly comes with its own, I suppose, cultural sensitivities, right? Because this is it's a new frontier. It's a new area for us all. But I love some of the language, Luke, that you guys use to describe the tikis. You talk about how the Tiki Tribe was born out of a need to explore, a need to navigate to all corners of the metaverse. And I suppose, that kind of that need to explore and navigate the seas, that's just certainly part of the Māori culture, and certainly part of all indigenous cultures, right?
No, absolutely. And, one of the things around why we felt it was the right time to do a project such as this was, really was, just go. I mean, this didn't just happen, there was a lot of conversations and synchronicities that got us to feeling comfortable, that it was the right time to bring culture into the metaverse, and actually what was the right way. So like talking with Bill, this is how we're doing it, letting everybody know that there is a story there, and that whakapapa behind it, and like that there are levels, and not everyone has to connect on every level, but knowing that there's actually a reason it's here, and there are other projects out there that create amazing art. And I think, what we're doing is doing that with levels in it and with meaning in it. And we call that mana. And so when we're going through that, that's the one thing that we're checking. Are we upholding our values through this? And also just sharing, right? One of the coolest things that came out is, a lot of people that have been joining the community are like, what is kia ora? Like, why does everyone keep saying this? And like just laughing, and just, and I think the approach that we really have and the philosophy is that it's a with, come along, come learn. If you get it wrong, that's okay. It's about learning and connecting. And that's really just something that's really at the really at the essence of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. And I think the easy way to understand kia ora, particularly in the NFT community around the world, is you just say, well, kia ora is the New Zealand way of saying good morning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's GM all over. Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be good, Luke, maybe if you just give us the snapshot, high level overview of the tikis as an NFT project. So just a bit of an idea of, for example, how many tikis there are, and what the different variants are, and how they work as an NFT project, and then we'll start to bring Bill back in to speak to the cultural part of it.
Yeah, sure thing. So there's 1,000, and the reason that we chose that 1,000, we wanted to keep it at a level that wasn't too, there weren't, 1,000 was a good number, and we didn't want to kind of grow right out to 10. So we wanted to keep it at that kind of rare kind of level there. And we also started to think about, okay, well, who wants to come in this tribe? And actually how we launched this is we did it in blocks of 200 as wakas, because we actually were adopting, that's actually how they came to Aotearoa, they came on the wakas.
Well, just explain for our international non-New Zealand listeners, if you like, what you mean when you say they came to New Zealand on a waka. What is that?
Yeah, Bill.
Essentially, a waka is a canoe. So we were a navigating people. So in terms of the sea, any of you who watched the movie Moana would know some of that. But that's the way we arrived. Our original, for Māori, we originally come from Hawaii, which is Hawaii. But we did the traveling in the Polynesia right to get to New Zealand, but it was by canoe. So when we talk about waka, it is a traveling vessel traditionally of how we travel, but it's also symbolic of the waka today in the metaverse and how we actually travel and use the connections that it has to allow people to be on a journey and the movement they need to get from one place to the other. So essentially waka is canoe, but in this context, is about whatever waka it is that's suitable for you to take you to where you need to be.
Yeah, no.
Very nice, very nice. And sorry, Luke, I asked about some of the, the different, I suppose, rarities. I know there are navigator tikis, there are chiefs. I think there are priests. Maybe just talk through a little bit about those and what they represent.
Yeah, and so in every tribe, there's different roles. And so we, when this was coming together, we were really going through what are the different roles that are meaningful to the Māori. And so the chief or the rangatea, like that's a role, and that's the gold tiki. And it plays that role of leadership and listening, and and waiting for the right time. And Bill will be able to say yep, but he we can go a lot deeper with all that, but basically so there's the chief, there's the priest or the tohunga. And actually that's a really interesting one, because the priest was on on the waka or the canoe, was the one actually checking which way which way to go,
the weather, the environment.
So it was all, yeah. So it was actually the one who could see and go, okay, this is what you should. So really, that kind of trusted advisor. And then the gatherer, you know, is actually one of the most important roles, because they're actually making sure everything works. You know, they're out there, they're actually making sure that everything lives and breathes and weaves together. And so that's really, and then you've got the navigator. And the navigator is kind of like it's the front role, you know, it's like always going out to the edges of the metaverse, looking at, you know, where to go. And like anyone in life, when you're navigating, it's never simple. Sometimes you find things you don't want to find. Sometimes it's all nice and it's, you know, and it's great, but they're navigating. They're the ones that are actually first going in there and actually seeing, okay, is this the right place or not? And actually bring it back to the tribe and then saying, great, okay, cool, it's safe, we can go there. And a lot of the things that we actually are developing with the Tiki is that guardianship, and that's the type of we bring that into the metaverse is playing that role, playing that guardian role, and a lot of it is guarding the culture. But guarding doesn't mean holding. Guarding just means it's there to be received. So that's like quite a different philosophy that I always like to just let people know, is that's our approach.
All right, I've just shared my screen, guys. So this is the Titan Tikis on OpenSea, because I think it's just that, you know, the artwork behind the Tikis is so incredible and so interesting. And I think, you know, for, again, the benefit of our wonderful international listeners around the world who may have a little bit of an idea of New Zealand, Aotearoa, Māori culture, they will have seen the All Blacks do the haka, of course, and they may even have seen a tiki, but you really do need to see these tikis to understand how cool and intriguing they are. So look, take it away, guys, just as I sort of scroll down some of these different tikis, maybe you can talk to what we're seeing.
Yeah, definitely. So they have a number, I guess the tiki was created by, you know, someone asked, oh, who created that tiki? Well, it was actually created with a paintbrush, actually, and a pen. So this was something that actually started from an artist that has done a lot of art that we're kind of at this moment keeping an on. And then it's been moved into this format. So it's been a really cool discovery. So first off, it started from an idea. It went to a sketch went to a painting came into the metaverse. So that's kind of been its journey as it navigated. And so a lot of the attributes you can see, you actually got the tongue, right? And so that is something that is quite, if you've seen the haka, you've seen them do the tongue movements, the big eyes, and it's that, I'm here. And I know, what would you say, Bill?
Yeah, it's based on that, but it's a statement of who I am and who I represent, but also, it's done in a way that doesn't announce your presence. It actually gives recognition to who you are and everybody else before you as well. So it's taking the cultural aspects, which is the haka, which is the war dance, but it's actually putting it in a modern context and saying whatever it is that we got the challenge going in front of us as a tiki, we're up for it. We're prepared for it. We know what we can do, not just with the symbolism, but also with the skills that it has that goes with it. And you'll notice a lot of those tikis have different, they're all different as part of that, and they've got particular skills that go with it, as Lucas said earlier on, around a rangatira, around a tohunga, around a navigator, and around a number of those roles together as the Titan Tiki Tribe, collectively is what all those skills come together and make sure not just the journey you're on happens, but also that you get to the place that you want to get to at the end of the day.
Yeah, so Bill, for example, the Taiaha, so that's in the picture.
Yep.
Now, so look at 54. With the Taiaha, that's something that's been used for challenge. It's a weapon, but it can also be ceremonial in different ceremonies. But yeah, what's your...
So all the above. So the Taiaha has a short staff. So that's the one that's going to the back of that tiki there. And again, that was used mainly in a ceremonial context, which was largely to welcome people. Now, just quickly, without going into too much depth, the Taiaha and its symbolism, for example, it's got a tongue on the very end of it. And that was to symbolize the person that you represented and the tribe that you represented. So when it was used in a ceremonial sense, it was used to depict the mana or the authority of all the people that you come from. And so it's a strong symbol of challenging, but it's also a strong symbol of peace as well, because it's also acknowledged that out of challenge comes a reconciliation, and in both contexts, the taiaha can be used. So it's called a weapon, but in a weapon, how you use it is the key thing around that particular tiki and its significance.
And I can see now we're showing there's different cloaks, of course, and different rarities as well. So what's the significance of these different cloaks?
Yeah, so the Korowai and the cloaks are typically worn by the chiefs, but also can be worn by others for different ceremonial at times. But the rarity in the cloaks would be what they're made of and where they've come from. So everything's about Whakapapa. And so, there's a lot of, and the colors. The colors are very important.
Yeah, so Whakapapa is genealogy. So Whakapapa is the thing that connects everybody in relationships. So, and your family lines of who you come from. So traditionally, that was an important thing. Know who you are and then who you relate to everyone else. The cloak in particular as a garment was a traditional garment, but it was symbolic of your particular tribe or your particular trait that you had. So it was related to a skill you had, it was related to the people that you represent. And the different colors or the different use of different feathers or different things that come with it culturally very much tied it to the person you are and how you were to others and the traits that you have. And so I think the tiki portrays that around not just the clothing and the weaponry, but also the skills that the person has going forward.
And Luke, now we're looking at some of the very rarest tikis, and I thought this was because I saw all this happen when you guys announced it, and I thought it was such just a really interesting and clever collaboration between you guys, the Titan Tikis, and the Fluffs, who of course are another New Zealand NFT project. And so I believe there's a little bit of cultural depth to this collaboration. I'm sure the Fluffs would be very proud to be part of this. So maybe just talk through, Luke, why there's not many. So you can see at the left here, the ones with the fluff necklace, there's just around 10, just over 10 in total out of 1,000. So those are very rare. So this one, this gold chief tiki with a greenstone fluff, there's a price of 50 ETH on that tiki, which shows you how rare they are. But yeah, what was that collaboration?
Yeah. Again, it was just like beautiful synchronicity. A part of the team are they're Māori as well, Ngāi Tahu, so down this, and so they we were just talking about, again, it would just be beautiful to weave this project into the metaverse, and we started talking. Everything happens over a conversation, and they were just like, hey, it would be so cool to connect and talk and just like share knowledge. And one of the things that came to us is when we work together with people and do things, it's all about giving a gift to each other. And so we actually didn't let them know we're doing this, and we created these fluff necklaces out of a symbol of respect and gratitude to say, hey, we're tied together. And and we will be going forward. So it was kind of a real beautiful surprise for them, because they were like, what? This is so cool. And we're like, and that's something that we're going to respect on the way forward of anyone else we work with, is that, okay, if you come on the waka with us, you'll share your knowledge, and together we'll create something and we'll give it back to you. And it's just that's something that we can continue to have legacy with as we continue into the metaverse.
Fantastic. And look, I'd love to get thoughts from both of you on this. I suppose just, what are the sensitivities around indigenous culture beginning their journeys into the metaverse, if you like, and the way that the tikis have? Because, you know, there's this kind of cultural conversation around the world about, you know, cultural appropriation, and people get really confused about this. And I think it's, no one really knows where the boundaries are, but effectively, you know, this is just art. It's just a new medium of expression for art. But, you know, love to hear your thoughts first, maybe, Bill. Like, what was your reaction when Luke came to you and said, "Hey, we're putting tikis on the blockchain, and we want to do it in the right way. You know, can you help?"
Yeah, I think I take a longer term vision, which is, you know, that we draw on the wisdom of the past to give direction to the future. So the symbol of a tiki in particular is a perfect symbol because it symbolizes a journey, it symbolizes a protector, it symbolizes the ability to evolve. And so our culture has always been meant to evolve in relation to the sharing of our culture, which allows us, and basically, if you can share your own culture, be confident of it, it allows others to share as well. And as part of that sharing of culture, you're able to get transverse some of those issues that come within that discussion. And I just love the fact that we've got these symbols that come from Aotearoa. They have a whakapapa, a genealogy. And actually, the tiki was a god or demigod in its original context. And then that particular symbol that it has was to be actually to be a protector or to be a journey person for whoever wore it, but also for going in from where it was traditionally to where it can go in the metaverse. So I think those things are allowing us to actually think a bit more widely. Sometimes in a cultural context, we can get very rigid, and it's in that rigidity that doesn't allow us to share it as widely as we can. We've got some beautiful artwork as well as symbols that belong to Aotearoa, but it's a gate and a window opening to your symbols and your artwork as well, because again, it just allows us to meet and greet at a particular level where you put something on the table, which is called a koha or a gift, as Luke was saying, and it allows a reciprocal type arrangement to happen around people sharing, but also being proud of what they have, but also bringing it together, it makes it even better. So in a cultural context, and in particularly in indigenous context, it's not new in terms of sharing of our culture, it's where we're taking it to. But beyond that is making sure, as Luke said really early on, my only involvement in here in terms of the advice has been that we ensure that the cultural context is respected, and also that we make sure that that's at the front end of what we do. Because in our Māori culture, we believe that a lot of the answers lie in the past. So in order to get to the future, you need to acknowledge the past and what it's given you and the learnings it's given you to the current and to the future. So it just provides that continuum of a life journey, and you're able to circulate yourself back to find the answers, but also go forward as well. So it allows both a backward look, but also allows a forward look. Too often people are looking forward all the time and forgetting about all the learnings and teachings that we have that came from the past that allow us to put a symbol like the tiki and any other cultural piece on the table that can be celebrated both backwards, now, and into the future. So there's a wide view around the cultural context. There is more, and there will be ongoing debate about this. That's a given. But I think a lot of the underlying thing is the respect, the honouring, but also having an open heart around the sharing of it, and knowing that there is a give back at some stage. Because quite often in the cultural context, will be argued, well, we gave that, we didn't really get anything back. So the giving back, and what Luke's alluding to, is the most important part of how this, in my view, I'll be watching as Titan Tiki develops to make sure that reciprocal arrangement continues.
Well, Luke, let's hear about some of that giving back then. Love to hear your thoughts on, because I know, you know, one of the main, the big goals of the Titan Tikis is really to, you know, extend that Māori culture into the metaverse and around the world. But I know how seriously you guys take that. So maybe just talk about it from whatever angle you want, but love to hear some of the things that you're working on, that you're prepared to share, anything on the roadmap, you know, future collaborations, anything that you're working with that you can hint at for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as we go through this, and around how do we ensure that the Māori culture is honoured through this project. It's just ensuring that it's coming from a place of love. It's ensuring that we're talking to all the right people on the waka, and it's continuing to grow with it. Like that's something that we're going to be doing. And I think like that, there'll be people that will have views. That's cool, because that's what you want. You want to create a place where views can be heard. And then to go on where we're going and what we can see today. Definitely we have partnerships in discussions that we're talking with. And I think it's a lot about the right people. We're connecting with the right people and doing things. So a lot of the conversations that we get is when roadmap or when utility, and it always just makes me laugh actually. And a lot of it is around, yes, we've definitely got a pipeline, because actually we're actually holding legacy here. Yeah. And so this is, it's really important. So it needs to, I've got a firm belief it needs to carry on. We're not here and then leaving. It's like we're here and we're starting. And that's something that we've been clear about. So, the Tiki are here. We're looking at different ways that they may be applying themselves into the metaverse and different virtual lands. And so they're getting ready to enter into that. And we're also looking at different partnerships with people that are, pretty good at music. So that's pretty cool. And we're looking at doing different partnerships with just people who actually connect with that project. And so for us, it's really important to continue to share the culture. And when people actually go, yeah, cool, I'm into that, we open our hearts and we see what we can do.
Yeah, really nice, Luke. Maybe just as we start to finish off, I've been in enough NFT community discords and watched enough mints now to know that it's a stressful time for everyone, whether it's the team, people trying to participate in the mint and make sure they get an NFT. It's just such a new area, and everyone is learning as they go. So just wondering if you've got any reflections or learnings on what you see happening in the NFT space, or anything that's really interesting at the moment. Doesn't even need to necessarily be Tiki specific, but just what's buzzing you out about NFTs at the moment?
I just think it's about where the possibility of where they can go. I mean, if you think about, and this is just in my view, they started off as an image, and now the utility of what an NFT can be is it can go from an image through to a 3D model, through to into a virtual land, through to you're walking around with that in a virtual land, having a drink with somebody, having a yarn, through to it can actually create an authentication portal to basically see special information, or so it's just got so much utility. And I think and there's so many smart people out there that are just so creative and they do things so quickly, and I just love that. So I can see that even that's as far as I can see. And then there's fog in front of that. And I guarantee it, before we know, there's going to be this other application that NFTs can be applied to. And then at the core of it is the art. You've got these artists that have got their heart out there and they're sharing that with the world, and the world, they're really responsive. They say, no, I don't like it, or I'm there and I'm gone. And so it's this kind of real interactive world that's just moving around, and I just think it's just freaking awesome. I mean, every day is a new day in NFT world.
Yes, indeed, you're exactly right, Luke. The NFT space is crazy indeed. It's just getting crazier as the likes of Coinbase and FTX are opening up their platforms to just another millions and millions of global crypto natives. So I mean, Yeah, NFTs. It is crazy and very exciting. But before we finish off, I know, I'm sure there's a couple of other alpha leaks that you can hint at, guys. I know. Well, yeah. What else can we cover off before we close down the show?
Yeah, like one of the most for me, one of the things I'm really passionate about is NFTs going into the metaverse and protocols being followed the right way.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we do in Māoridom is when we give a gift, we do a karakia or a blessing to that gift. As we set it and we hand it over. And that's something that we've been working on and making sure that's been honored the right way. And so we're actually in, final stages of, developing behind, let's just say in a cave, where tiki holders can go to spend time with their karakia and find the right one that connects with them. What's really important is when someone holds a tiki, there's a reason they're holding it. And our tiki holders are already sharing stories like, this is actually why I chose to actually connect with my tiki. Right. And then once they get the tiki, they choose the karakia that fits with their energy, and then they do that. So that's like, again, the first stage of more karakias that they'll be able to work with and find which connects with them. I think it's something that's really important to us as that's done the right way.
Definitely a point of difference. I mean, the ability to take the spiritual dimension into this world is one that's often, it's very hard to do, but if you're taking a culture, you have to take that. And as part of that is the reciprocal stuff I spoke about earlier, but there's also the knowledge that it's just not as simple. It comes with all the blessings that need to be made with it to make it happen for you in the stories you choose to make with it. So that blessing is important to make sure that as you're holding it, not just it's yours, but all the things that's imbued in it can work for you going forward. So in the Māori world, there's a number of things that make sure that we're safe. And like I said, that's primarily my role in the cultural context. One is the spiritual world, or wairua. The other one is the physical world, which is tinana. The other one is the mental world, which is the hinengaro. And the other one is about family, and that's whānau. So all those things make the well-being of a person, and all those things come through the tiki as a symbol and the ability to have a karakia to match to ensure your journey covers those things wherever you choose to take it. So there is very much a choice issue here, and I'm really pleased to hear that people are starting to make those stories about those tikis, because that's how you keep it alive. That's how you make it have an influence on what you're doing in a positive way, but also supports the wider cultural context. Because if we can't get that moving through, then it's no different. So what I say about that, the point of difference is we're trying to incorporate the totality of what our culture can bring, shared with others, brung back, and continuous to improve it as we go through this journey together.
Yeah, and what I love about that, Bill, is you talked about the importance of bringing the spiritual component to this, and use the word blessing. And I remember, Luke, when you guys launched the very first Titan Tiki waka, and you did a spaces, I think, on Twitter, and you had Bill there. Bill was one of the speakers, and you had your whole team. And Bill, you did a Maori blessing in Maori, right? Which was exactly what we're talking about. You literally did bless the beginning of the journey, and I just thought it was just such a beautiful touch. It was really nice, I think.
Yeah, and for us, that's normal. You go to the beach, and you'd say, you look at your environment and you say hello, and you thank the environment, and then you go talk to people. And that's something that we'll continue to do as we go through Titan Tiki, is that our protocols are there for people to connect with, and they can experience it if they want to.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's finish this off, gentlemen. Normally I would do the crypto conversation, the hot take round, very famous, but it doesn't really feel appropriate for today. Today has been more of a spiritual journey into the Maori metaverse. And man, it's just been fantastic to have you both on. So look, love to get just any closing words from you, Bill. And then Luke, please take us out and tell people where they can go to learn more about the community you guys are building, how they can enter the Discord, follow you on Twitter, and of course find you on OpenSea, because I think, once more people start to learn about the tikis, they're going to want to get one. So yeah, all right, Bill, closing thoughts, please.
Yeah, I just think the symbol of the tiki, and Titan Tiki in particular, is in its element in terms of the metaverse. And I mean that in terms of the total journey past, current and future, but it's made for that universe. It's made to evolve, it's made to adapt, it's made to be able to bring joy, it's made to be able to do a lot of things, with an umbrella of love attached to it. But that's where it needs to play in a cultural context. Keep it alive, keep its stories flowing, but also keep people happy around what it does for them, and genuine, joy going throughout the world. So those are my final messages. Take the love that comes with it, the cultural context, but make it yours and the things that it can, and even to explore the things we don't know right now, Andy. That's what I'm excited about, is that the journey is uncompleted at the moment. It's going to go to areas that we haven't even thought of today. And that excites me a lot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, Andy, I just think it's it's just cool. It's just cool to be doing something that you love. And for others who would love to connect with the project, they can head over to tiki.quest is our website. And you can find us on OpenSea if you look for Titan space Tiki, and you'll see us there. And you can find us at Titan Tiki NFT on Twitter, and then you can jump into the Discord through that way. Just reach out, and love to have a conversation. But I also thought a bit of a different idea is Bill could actually do a karakia to close out the podcast if you're open for it, Andy.
Of course, please. I would love that. Take it away, Bill.
Yeah.
Kia ora, ka ino tātou. E pā tēnā mātou ndi kia koe he manaki tia ke mātou tuku mai tō wairua takakawangia tātou arataki nei e mātou roto mātou Titan Tiki I roto e nā kōna. Our Lord, we thank you for the many blessings today. We thank you for the gift of Titan Tiki. We thank you for the cultural context that's been applied and the discussion we've had today to be able to enlighten, to strengthen people in what we're looking to do, but also have our culture in front of us as we go. Thank you for this podcast today, and that it may strengthen everybody who's listening, and to continue to give unity of thought and mind around the journeys that are ahead of us. We ask these things in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Wow. All right. Thanks, guys. This has been awesome. Really a privilege and a pleasure to have you both on. And look, I've got a tiki myself, so all the best with the project. I'll be watching. Don't you worry about that. And we'll keep spreading the good word. Go the tikis.
Yeah. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
All right. Cheers, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right. There you go. Something a bit different. As I say, really cool to talk to Luke and Bill and be able to profile a local New Zealand NFT project, the Titan Tikis. I do have one. So yeah, as I say, really pleased to watch the progress of the team. And yeah, just cool to see people doing cool cultural stuff in the NFT space in the metaverse. All right, that's today's show. Thanks for listening, everyone. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave New Coin. See ya.